Okay, epistle 11 of Cyprian to the people. For the background in this letter, please read epistles 9 and 10, which kind of give you some idea of where he's coming from here. Argument. The substance of this letter is also suggested in epistle 14. Among the people also, he says, I have done what I could to quiet their minds, and have instructed them to be retained in ecclesiastical discipline. Cyprian, to his brethren among the people who stand fast, greeting. That you bewail and grieve over the downfall of our brethren, I know from myself, beloved brethren, who also bewail with you, and grieve for each one, and suffer and feel what the blessed apostle said, who is weak, said he, and I am not weak, who is offended, and I burn not. And again he has laid it down in his epistle, saying, whether one member suffer, all the members suffer with it, or one member rejoice, all the members rejoice with it. I sympathize with you in your suffering and grief, therefore, for our brethren who, having lapsed and fallen prostrate under the severity of the persecution, have inflicted a like pain on us by their wounds, inasmuch as they tear away part of our bowels with them. To these the divine mercy is able to bring healing. Yet I do not think that there must be any haste, nor that anything must be done incautiously and immaturely, lest, while peace is grasped at, the divine indignation be more seriously incurred. The blessed martyrs have written to me about certain persons, requesting that their wishes may be examined into, when, as soon as peace is given to us all by the Lord, we shall begin to return to the church. Then the wishes of each one shall be looked into in your presence and with your judgment. Yet I hear that certain of the presbyters, neither mindful of the gospel, nor considering what the martyrs have written to me, nor reserving to the bishop the honor of his priesthood and of his dignity, have already begun to communicate with the lapsed, and to offer on their behalf, and to give them the Eucharist, when it was fitting that they should attain to these things in due course. For as in smaller sins, which are not committed against God, penitence may be fulfilled in a set time, and confession may be made with investigation of the life of him who fulfills the penitence, and no one can come to communion unless the hands of the bishop and clergy be first imposed upon him. How much more ought all such matters as these to be observed with caution and moderation according to the discipline of the Lord in these gravest and extremest sins. This warning, indeed, our presbyters and deacons ought to have given you, that they might cherish the sheep committed to their care, and by the divine authority might instruct them in the way of obtaining salvation by prayer. I am aware of the peacefulness as well as the fear of our people, who would be watchful in the satisfaction and the deprecation of God's anger, unless some of the presbyters, by way of gratifying them, had deceived them. Even you, therefore, yourselves, guide them each one, and control the minds of the lapsed by counsel, and by your own moderation, according to the divine precepts. Let no one pluck the unripe fruit at a time as yet premature. Let no one commit his ship, shattered and broken with the waves anew to the deep, before he has carefully repaired it. Let none be in haste to accept and to put on a rent tunic, unless he has seen it mended by a skillful workman, and has received it arranged by the fuller. Let them bear with patience my advice, I beg. Let them look for my return, that when by God's mercy I come to you, I, with many of my co-bishops, being called together according to the Lord's discipline, and in the presence of the confessors, and with your opinion also, may be able to examine the letters and the wishes of the blessed martyrs concerning this matter. I have written both to the clergy, to the martyrs and confessors, both of which letters I have directed to be read to you. I bid you, brethren beloved, and most longed for, ever heartily farewell in the Lord, and have me in remembrance. Fare ye well. So at the end, when he says, I have written both to the clergy and to the martyrs and confessors, both of which letters I've directed to be read to you. That's talking about epistles 9 and 10, respectively, which you will also find here on my YouTube channel. All right. Peace, everyone.